It's a sort of fascinating account of the life of a woman who was just so impressive at what she did and what she put herself through to give us news. This is a story about her life, about aspects of her personal life, but also her professional life, and covers 5 of the different conflict zones that she worked in. He's a photojournalist. He's a war photographer. He's from Liverpool. He met Marie not too early in his career. We depict it that it's a little bit earlier than the reality, and the two of them just hit it off instantly. So for many of the conflict zones that we cover in the movie, Paul was right there with Marie, and he was with Marie when she died, and Paul had a pretty horrific injury when Marie died in Syria in 2012. And he's a bit of a jester, a bit of a joker, great at his job, takes incredible pictures, and has no fear. I've never met anyone who's just less scared of every single, aspect of life, and I think a lot of that's down to the fact that he's had so many near-death experiences. Having Paul Conroy on set was totally invaluable. I mean, incredible for me, to be honest. At times, in the early days, I struggled with it a wee bit, and we talked about maybe not having him sat sort of watching the monitors for the first couple of times, certainly the first 2 days, because it's tough enough doing this job and trying to portray someone, and I'm doing an accent, I'm doing a Scouse accent in it, and you're trying to embody someone else, and if that someone is sort of just outside of your eye line, it just adds this whole heap of extra pressure onto it, which I didn't want. But once Paul and I started to get to know each other really well and became comfortable with each other, then I loved having him there. She's just an incredible actress, and she just hurls herself at roles, and physicality and the tone of the voice and all that stuff that she's just nailed with Marie. And it was interesting, with real Paul Conroy, the first time he saw the first footage, on day one, he was sort of blown away. Even like stills photographs we'd taken before we started, Paul was like freaked out by it, about how her likeness to Marie. Matthew's brought his own kind of real energy to it. I mean, if all you're trying to do in movies is tell the truth, even though you're telling lies and it's all fantasy, or it's trying to tell the truth of the situation, especially if it's something about real people, stuff that actually happened, you're trying to portray that in the most truthful set of circumstances. And that's why I think a lot of documentary makers make great narrative filmmakers too, because that's all Matthew knows, is finding the truth of the situation, because it's there, it's all he's ever seen. So I think that's been a real benefit. All the content that we shot in Jordan was like literally every single piece of war that's in the movie, which is a lot of it. Probably about 40% of the movie is different war zones. We obviously shot that all at once in Jordan, and there wasn't an easy day. I mean, there wasn't one day you weren't dealing with some sort of horrific situation, that plight of innocent people through some brutal totalitarian regime. I mean, it was awful. A lot of the time we were using real Syrian refugees as extras, and you'd be filming a scene, and you just off the side you just hear like someone wailing, and one of the extras would just break down because it was all just felt, it was sort of digging up the past for them, and it was just at times it felt very just emotional. I think it was very emotional. I think it's important this story is told now because, you know, awful things are still happening to people, to innocent civilian people in many different parts of the world. And the more you can shed light on the people who are trying to tell the truth of the situation and to feed us the information rather than the sort of what's given us to by the sort of main news streams, I think the better. And people like Marie and Paul, you know, continue to put their life on the line to essentially help these people, and it still seems that not enough changes